What if you could hit reset on your money habits?
Imagine 30 days without wasting on non-essentials. No overpriced coffee, no endless shopping scroll.
Just clarity, savings, and freedom. The No Spend Challenge isn't about deprivation, ethosly. It's about power.
Power to stop the leaks, to silence the stress, and to finally feel in control again.
Hit that subscribe, bell it up, and ride the full wave with me.
Okay, so we all know that feeling, right? It's maybe the first of the month, you log into your banking app.
Oh yeah, brace yourself times.
Exactly. And you see the number and you just think, where did it all go? It's like this invisible force draining your account.
Mm-hmm.
It's not usually one huge thing. It's that constant kind of relentless drip, drip, drip. You know, the $7 latte, the little add-on at checkout.
That streaming service you signed up for that free trial for 6 months ago.
Totally forgot about it.
From me.
It's that financial leakage. And look, you are definitely not alone feeling that pressure right now.
No, absolutely not. And the bigger picture here, the macro context, it's really crucial. We've had these waves of economic shock. Inflation's been stubbornly high.
Smash that subscribe, ring the bell, and stick around. Click out. Jays, more's coming.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So people are understandably scrambling for ways to get some control back. Bloomberg Economics actually noted this huge surge in searching for financial prudence.
Prudence, okay. Fancy word for trying not to go broke.
Pretty much. And we saw social media mentions for this specific thing we're talking about today just explode, like 32 times higher near the end of 2024.
32 times. Wow. Okay, so that's not just some niche internet thing. That's a lot of people looking for a reset button.
It's a collective mood, yeah.
So today, our mission is basically to give you the shortcut. We're diving deep into the No Spend Challenge, the NSC. Some people call it a fiscal fast, maybe a shopping detox.
Right. Different names, same core idea.
We want to unpack the psychology, why it works sometimes. Look at how different folks in the U.S. tackle it, because it's not the same for everyone.
Definitely not.
And check out the role of places like TikTok and Reddit. And maybe most importantly, flag the common traps, the pitfalls you really need to know about to actually succeed.
Yeah, before we get into the weeds, though, let's just nail down the definition. Because no spend sounds intense.
Sounds like living in a cardboard box, maybe.
Right. People imagine, like, eating cold beans from a can. That's not the idea. It's really just a temporary commitment, usually about 30 days, to stop spending money on non-essential things.
Okay. So if I started tomorrow, I still pay my rent. Yeah. What's definitely off limits for cutting? What are the exceptions?
Good question. The rules are always kind of self-defined, but the core essentials are pretty clear. Your rent or mortgage, obviously. Basic groceries.
And basic is key here, right? Not
Bell, like, and don't stop now. Let's finish strong.
Not fancy takeout.
Exactly. Food you cook at home. Utilities got to keep the lights on. Essential transport to get to work. And, medical needs, prescriptions, doctor visits.
Got it. So the challenge targets the wants.
Yeah.
That coffee you grab on the way to work, the new gadget, the subscription box.
That shirt that looks suspiciously like 3 others you already own.
Yeah.
The voluntary stuff.
What's really interesting, though, and you touched on this, is that, yeah, saving money is nice, obviously.
Sure, that's the hook.
But the real power seems to be something else entirely, something not quite monetary.
It is. The money saved. That's the headline, the quick win. But the lasting benefit, that's the behavioral shift. Think of the NSC as like a powerful diagnostic tool.
A diagnostic tool, I like that.
Yeah, by forcing a hard stop on consumption just for a bit, you suddenly shine this bright spotlight on your budget holes, the leaks.
You see where the money's actually going.
Precisely. It makes you consciously reevaluate your relationship with money, maybe break that cycle of just mindless spending that advertisers kind of rely on,
Okay, diagnosis. Makes sense. But if we look at the sources, like why someone even picks up that diagnostic tool, it looks totally different depending on who you are, your age, your income. This challenge is definitely not one size fits all.
Oh, it varies dramatically. Take Gen Z. They're really active with this. For them, it's often framed almost like a dopamine detox as much as a purely financial thing.
Like a game, yeah, financial.
Exactly. They gamify it. Their goals are often really specific, maybe experiential, saving up hard for like concert tickets, a big trip, maybe the latest phone. And the data backs this up. There was a Bank of America study, 2023, I think, found almost 73% of Gen Z worry about money.
Wow.
So they're drawn to those quick visual hacks you see on TikTok, things that promise transparency, quick results.
Okay, so contrast that with millennials. Often they're deeper into careers, maybe starting families, carrying a lot of debt.
Yeah.
How's the challenge look for them, the pragmatists?
Yeah. Millennials are usually aiming for more systemic change, stability. Their goals are often bigger, more foundational, like building a serious emergency fund, saving for a down payment, or really tackling that credit card debt, maybe mortgage debt.
Student loans, too, right? They get hit hard with those.
Oh, absolutely. They carry the heaviest student debt load. So they tend to look for more in-depth, long-term advice. You see them more on, say, YouTube finance channels or specific Reddit communities like Our Personal Finance.
Okay. And then you have high-income earners trying this.
Yeah.
Which at first glance seems weird. If you're already comfortable, why put yourself to a no-spend challenge?
Right. It seems counterintuitive. But for this group, it's often more of a mental exercise, a test of discipline.
Oh, okay.
It gets branded differently, too. More like mindful spending or maybe underconsumption. It's like a game. Yeah, but the game is about optimizing wealth they already have, finding those subtle leaks, making sure every dollar is working strategically, not just spent out of habit.
But framing it as a game or a detox, that really highlights something important. It kind of makes it sound like it's only for people with money to play with, disposable income.
That's a crucial point.
And the sources, especially when you look at Reddit forums like pro-poverty finance, they bring in this really vital reality check. For people on low incomes, this isn't a game, it's just survival.
That distinction is absolutely vital. When we talk about cutting non-essentials, we have to be really aware that for low-income folks, there's often very little fat to trim in the first place.
Their budget is already mostly essentials.
Overwhelmingly. Basic housing, utilities, food, transport. Trying to apply that strict, hardcore no-spend model, it can actually create a lot of guilt or pressure because they just can't make those kinds of cuts.
So for that group, the advice shouldn't be stop spending. It needs to be more about optimizing the essential spending they have to do anyway.
Precisely. The focus shifts entirely. It becomes about radical efficiency, like meticulous meal planning to waste absolutely zero food. Finding free community resources, maybe negotiating payment plans for essential bills. It's a whole different skill set.
That perspective is so important for making this kind of advice actually useful and not harmful.
Right. Accessibility matters.
Okay, so clearly just gritting your teeth and using willpower isn't going to cut it for most people. It seems like community, finding your people, plays a big part in sticking with it, especially when, friends want to go out.
Absolutely huge. That social accountability piece is massive. Joining online groups, maybe a Facebook group or a Reddit sub, sharing your progress, your struggles, that gives you the motivation, the validation you need.
Keeps you going and it gets tough.
Yeah, and this ties into things like loud budgeting. Have you heard of that?
I think so, yeah. It's being open about your money goals.
Exactly. You publicly share your financial boundaries. So when you say, hey, I can't do that expensive brunch this weekend, it's not coming across as just being, cheap.
It's part of a plan.
Right. It's an intentional choice you've already communicated. That transparency makes it way easier to navigate social situations.
Subscribe now, tap the bell, and drop your thoughts in the comments.
Without feeling isolated or pressured.
Okay, which brings us neatly to failure. Why does it feel like almost everyone who tries a super strict NSC kinda falls off the wagon by week 2? Let's get into the psychology of those pitfalls.
Yeah, the failure rate can be high if you're not prepared. The number one enemy, lack of prep. And that usually shows up first as just poor planning. Meaning you haven't clearly defined your rules up front. So you get bogged down in these tiny debates with yourself, like, is buying paper towels essential? What about replacing a light bulb?
Decision fatigue kicks in.
Totally. You waste so much mental energy on small stuff. And the biggest planning fail, not planning your meals, that is lethal.
Uh-oh. Wednesday night, tired, hungry.
Exactly. The path of least resistance is always going to be grabbing expensive takeout or delivery. Your plan goes out the window.
Okay, poor planning.
Yeah.
What's the deeper psychological reason people quit? Must be the emotional spending, right? This challenge takes away a crutch.
It absolutely does. For a lot of people, spending money acts as a maybe toxic but reliable coping mechanism for stress, boredom, disappointment.
A little retail therapy.
Right. So when the NSC suddenly removes your ability to self-soothe by buying something, you're forced to actually feel those difficult emotions. And if you haven't thought ahead and prepared healthy, free alternatives,
Like going for a run or hitting the library.
yeah, or journaling, calling a friend, whatever works for you, if you don't have those replacements ready, you're likely going to relapse into that familiar comfort of clicking buy now. It becomes this internal battle.
Okay, so you fight the internal urges. Then the external forces arrive. Social pressure. How does that derail things?
It creates isolation, which is tough. If your friends are constantly suggesting expensive activities, or worse, kind of making fun of your challenge.
Calling you cheap, maybe?
Yeah, that emotional drain can force you into a really difficult spot. Choosing between your financial goals and, well, belonging. It's hard to stick with it when you feel like you're constantly missing out. That FOMO, the fear of missing out, it's a powerful psychological trigger for quitting.
Man. Okay. And the last one. The one that feels like the ultimate betrayal of all your hard work. The revenge spend. The financial crash diet.
Yes, this is probably the most destructive pitfall. When the restriction phase feels too rigid, too much like deprivation, your brain just rebels.
Like a coiled spring.
Exactly. You survive the 30 days feeling deprived, and the little voice in your head says, okay, I earned this shopping spree. This psychological backlash leads to just going wild afterwards.
Spending way more than you saved.
Often, yeah. Wiping out 100% of the savings, sometimes more, in just a few days or weeks. It proves the change was only temporary, not a real shift in habits.
So if the real goal is lasting change, not just a temporary blip, what are the non-monetary wins we should be focusing on? The things that actually help sustain the effort?
Oh, the benefits here are really profound, actually. The first big one is simply reduced decision fatigue. Think about it. How many tiny money decisions do you make every single day?
Dozens, probably, without even thinking.
Right. By setting clear, firm rules for that 30-day period, you just eliminate that whole category of mental burden. You're just saying no automatically to the non-essentials. It frees up brain space.
No more internal debate about grabbing that latte or the expensive sandwich for lunch. The decision's already made. Less stress.
Exactly. Less daily stress. And then there are these kind of unintentional but huge environmental benefits. Well, the challenge naturally encourages you to use what you already have. You start fixing things instead of replacing them, reusing containers. And critically, you usually slash food waste because you're forced to cook from your pantry and fridge inventory.
Right, using up those forgotten cans in the back.
Yeah.
It's like an instant shift to being more resourceful.
Yeah, practical sustainability without even trying too hard.
And maybe the biggest win of all, just feeling like you're in control again, reclaiming your autonomy.
That's the core victory, I think. It's a really powerful act of self-control in a world that's constantly pushing you to consume. You're taking back the reins from, advertising algorithms, social media trends, the whole consumer machine. It builds genuine self-mastery.
Okay, so we know the pitfalls, we know the real benefits. Now let's talk strategy, the playbook for winning. If someone's listening right now and thinking, okay, I want to try this, what's the absolute #1 must-do action item?
Rule number 1. And this directly fights that revenge spend we talked about. It's the financial lock. You must immediately set up an automatic transfer for the money you didn't spend.
Instantly.
Instantly. If you normally spend $5 on coffee but didn't today, transfer that $5 right now into a dedicated place. A high-yield savings account, an investment fund, maybe extra on a debt payment.
Why is moving it immediately so critical? Is it about giving the money a job? Making it less available?
Precisely. If that saved money just sits in your regular checking account, it's just liquid. It's tempting. It's waiting to be spent on the next impulse. Transferring it instantly gives it a purpose, locks in the win. It turns the negative act of not spending into the positive act of actively saving or investing.
That's really smart. Makes the saving feel more tangible. Okay, what about fighting those impulse buys that pop up midweek? Especially online scrolling.
Ah, yes. For that, you need the 72-hour rule. Simple, but effective. If you feel tempted to buy any non-essential item, force yourself to wait 3 full days. Put in your cart, fine, but don't check out.
3 days.
3 days. Most impulse desires just kind of evaporate within that cooling off period. It gives you the space to figure out if it was just an emotional whim or something you genuinely, thoughtfully need or want long term.
Okay, so you do the 30-day reset, you use the financial lock, the 72-hour rule, but maybe the super strict no spend forever feels, well, impossible.
Yeah.
Probably not much fun.
Let's be honest, yeah. It's usually not sustainable long term for most people. It's a tool, not a lifestyle.
So what's the sustainable path forward after that initial reset?
You need to transition. Shift from the strict no spend to the much more realistic and flexible low buy challenge.
Low buy. Okay.
Think of it this way. The no spend month was the diagnosis. Now, you use that information to design your personalized sustainable treatment plan. Low buy involves setting flexible, personalized rules, but with intentional exceptions built in.
Can you give an example? Like, what would a personalized low buy rule look like?
Sure. So instead of zero spending on, say, socializing, you might allow yourself one planned dinner out with friends per month. Or if you have a hobby that genuinely brings you joy, like reading or crafting, you might set a specific, modest monthly budget just for books or art supplies.
So it's not total deprivation, it's about conscious choices.
Exactly. That flexibility is key. It prevents burnout, makes the behavioral change actually stick because you're still living a life you enjoy, just more intentionally, on your own terms.
Right. And finally, if we're cutting back on paid entertainment, movies, concerts, bars, we got to fill that time somehow, or we'll just go stir crazy. What were some of the best free entertainment ideas?
Focus on things that actually build you up mentally or physically rather than just consuming. The library is number one. It's an incredible, totally free resource most people underutilize.
So true. Books, movies, sometimes even museum passes.
Yep. Also, check out free community events, festivals, talks, workshops, simple stuff too. Decluttering or organizing your home can feel really productive. And just getting outside, walking in a park, hiking, these things help you reconnect with what actually brings you fulfillment, often way more than expensive distractions do.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows the no spend challenge is, well, it's a powerful short-term tool. Great for a financial reset, fantastic for gaining insight into your own spending habits, your psychology around money.
Definitely a strong kickstart.
But true, lasting success. It seems like it depends way less on just brute willpower and much more on good preparation, having clear but flexible rules, and probably embracing that low-buy model for the long haul, making it sustainable.
Well said. And maybe if we leave you, the listener, with one final thought to chew on, it's this. If the real goal here isn't just temporary savings, but actual lasting behavior change.
Which it should be.
Right. Then how can you make absolutely sure that the money you didn't spend during your challenge gets immediately put to work? Channeled toward achieving a bigger, meaningful purpose, like becoming debt-free or building long-term investments rather than just sitting in your account, waiting for the next impulse purchase to grab it.
Replacing that inertia with intention.
Exactly. Intentionality has to take over.
That is definitely the thought to mull over this week. Hey, if you've made that transition from a strict no spend to a more sustainable low buy, we'd love to hear about it. Tell us your personal exception rules down in the comments. How do you build that intentional flexibility into your budget?
Yeah, share your tips.
And of course, make sure you follow the deep dive for more insights into financial psychology, strategy, all that good stuff. We will catch you on the next deep dive.